What's up, people? Joe Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy, and here's my next episode of Joe Winko Talk. So, this is going to be a personal and somewhat gloomy episode of Joe Winko Talk, but it's going to definitely be personal, and it's going to definitely be negative. Not really that gloomy, but it is going to kind of be gloomy also. I made a post about this earlier on my Facebook fan page that I was going to do an episode of Joe Winko Talk about this and what it was going to be about, but I got sidetracked earlier. As you all know, I'm living down south right now, and I haven't really figured out exactly how I could get more insulin yet or more diabetic supplies, so I already ran out of testing strips like 3 or 4 days ago. And I've been feeling a bit out of it, but I'm feeling better now. Like, this is my last insulin I have left, but it should last me for quite some time, and I'm trying to figure out more ways to get more, so don't be alarmed or anything, because I think I have some stuff figured out, so I'll be okay. So, as I mentioned on Facebook a couple days ago, this episode of Joe Winko Talk is going to be about these two men from South Carolina who stabbed me in the back. Literally. Well, not literally, but metaphorically. But it would have been less meaner if they actually did it literally, because then I would just die and go to heaven and be with my uncle again. But they didn't do it literally. That's metaphorically, I think, is a term. Okay, let's get to it. So, back when I lived in Wisconsin, I really hated Wisconsin so much, and I can't return to Wisconsin anyway. There's no place for me to go back to in Wisconsin because my apartment lease expired. And actually, they already have a new person living in the apartment too. I didn't notice that, but they do. And back then, my adoptive parents kept telling me that after the apartment lease expires, because they're the ones who were paying for it, that they're actually going to that they're not going to help me at all after the apartment lease expires, and that they're going to have me become homeless then. And I thought I was going to become homeless and die, and I did a couple episodes about how I would die if I became homeless, because I'd have no access to insulin at all, which is almost the situation I'm in right now. I'll have a link to that in the pinned comments, How Did Joe Die? And also I have a psychic told me how I was really going to die out in the forest in North Carolina. I'll have a link to that in the pinned comments as well. I told you this was going to be gloomy. So, in 2017, I was posting, it is 2017, but earlier this year I was posting videos online. I was looking for a friend or a lover or partner who would have me come live with them and who would have me stay with them, really, so I don't have to become homeless and die. But eventually I gave up on that and then just decided to, well, after my adoptive, I'll get to that soon. So, these two men in South Carolina, they were a gay couple. They said that I could come live with them and that they saw my videos. I think they saw my videos. I'm not exactly sure. I think they might have. And they were these two really nice guys in South Carolina who were in their mid to late 40s. And they were very handsome too. They were two nurses who were together. They were a couple. I'm not sure if they were married or anything, but they were a couple, definitely. And this was back in early April of 2017, and they were a gay couple, and as I said, I was open to living with a couple too. It just wouldn't have to be one guy. I was open to living with two guys as well, as long as they don't try to force me into doing bad stuff or anything like that. Or try forcing me into doing anything, really, because I take orders from no one, as you guys should know. Yeah, oh well. But these guys, they seemed like they were really excited to have me there. And I was excited to meet them too. As I said, they lived in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I always wanted to visit South Carolina. And I always wanted to visit Myrtle Beach. And I definitely wouldn't mind living there as well. I already live down south. But I definitely wouldn't have minded living in South Carolina as well, because I really hated Wisconsin and wanted to leave. And South Carolina was one of the places I always wanted to road trip to. So we sent a few messages to each other. I'm not going to show you all of them, because it's just small talk, really. It's nothing really, like, interesting, to be honest. Because most of the time, when me and these guys were talking, we weren't just messaging each other back and forth. We talk on camera, and they seemed extremely authentic, and I believed everything they were saying, but the truth is, they were bullshitting me the whole entire time. And you know, that's why this hurts so much, and that's why I'm doing this episode of Joe Winko Talk about them. And I always tell people, like, that I don't suck cock or take it up the ass, and I always make that very clear, like, in all my relationship posts. That's the first thing I mention, that I don't suck cock or take it up the ass. Like, I love getting my cock sucked, but I don't suck cock or take it up the ass myself. I always mention that first thing. I'm gonna get back to that. So, when they messaged me, I told them that again, and they said that they didn't mind. And they said that they'd been together for 5 years, and we started talking to each other, and they said they didn't care that I don't suck cock or take it up the ass, because they said, oh, it's not about that at all. We're fine that you don't do that. We're not going to make you do anything you don't want to do. It's all about being together and being with each other. And I was like, oh, well, that's really nice. And I really liked them, and I was excited to meet them, because they seemed really cool, and I believed everything they were saying. They also both had blue eyes also, and that's another thing, really. And another thing that makes me mad that they were bullshitting me the whole entire time. They were friendly guys from the South, but they really weren't from the South at all. Their accents sounded kind of fake. Like, they were talking in Southern accents, but they sounded kind of fake. They actually told me that they were from Maine and Vermont, and I was thinking, Maine and Vermont? Then how the hell did you guys get Southern accents? People in Maine and Vermont don't talk like that. They talk in the Yankee New Yorker accent, like the Sopranos, but that's a whole nother story. I'm not going to get into that. That's worthy of a new episode of Joe Winko Talk. But we were talking to each other on camera, and it's not like I was jerking off for them on camera, because I do not jerk off for anyone on camera, because I really don't like doing that, to be honest with you. But we were talking to each other on camera, like talking about ourselves, talking about how our days went and everything, and they were talking to me about how excited they were to have me come down to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina and visit them, and like, they said they would send me a bus. Well, I said that, sure, you guys could send me a bus ticket to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina so I could come visit you. And they kept saying that they would, but they never did. Absolutely never did. And our conversations, like, during our conversations, we looked so happy, and they looked so happy, and they legitimately looked excited for me to come visit. And we kept planning on the dates and everything. Like, they never chose out a date, but I'd give them dates, and then they would never go through or follow through with it. And soon after, over time, we had lost contact, and I kept trying to send them messages on Facebook and kept trying to call them on Facebook. And then it would always say message read, but they wouldn't reply or respond at all. And I was wondering, are these guys just ignoring me? And then after a couple months, like, I eventually caught the feeling that they were just ignoring me. And after that, I kind of gave up, because the psychic told me that I was going to be killed out in the forests in North Carolina. Like, I wasn't going to be murdered, but I was going to be killed by a tornado. That's how she said I was going to die. And that I was going to become homeless, and that she saw me out in the forest, and that the tornado comes in, and then I get sucked inside the tornado and killed that way. So I just kind of gave up. And the only reason why I'm still here right now, and the only reason why that didn't end up happening, is because what happened was I started posting about that online, how I was going to run away to North Carolina and how I was going to get killed by a tornado, because I couldn't really keep that to myself. I never told anyone about the guy who was going to drop me off at the forest in North Carolina once I became homeless in October 2017. But after I found out about that, I started posting about it online. What happened is, one of my adoptive parents' relatives, they found that online, that I was posting about that, and they told my adoptive parents that I was going to run away to a forest and get killed by a tornado in North Carolina. This is what my adoptive parents told me, too. My adoptive parents are very, very religious. Like, even though I'm 21 years old right now, apparently, according to their religion, they're still responsible for me because they adopted me and everything, and especially if the mental illnesses that I have. They believed that if I would have been taken out to the forest in North Carolina and became homeless because they didn't find a new place for me to live, they believed that if I would have been taken to the forest and killed by the tornado, that God would have said it was all their fault, and he would have sent them to hell for it, which it totally would have been their fault in the first place. So, that's the only reason why I'm still alive, because my adoptive parents don't want to die and don't want to go to hell after they die. They explained that to me many times, so they really do not give a shit about me going out to the forest and dying and getting killed by a tornado, but they... what was I going to say? But they didn't want to go to hell, so that's the only reason why. Not because they were worried about me getting killed out in the forest. They even told that to me. They said, we don't care what you do with your life, but we don't want to go to hell for that. So that's the reason why we're sending you down south to live with relatives. They have explained that to me. Not once, but multiple times. That's the reason why. Because they don't want God to punish them for it and send them to hell for it. So that's the reason why. I didn't have anyone, so that's the only reason why. If it wasn't for that, I would be dead right now. My body, what's left of my body, because he said my arm was going to be ripped off by a flying branch, and that my body was going to be split in half. What was found and left of my body would have been buried in a pauper's graveyard right now. I would have been out in North Carolina rotting right now, and because, you know, no one was by my side at all. Everyone turned their back on me. Everyone turned their back on me. You think I don't know that? You think that just because I have autism, I'm not smart enough to know that? No. Everyone turned their back on me. I was talking about how I was going to become homeless, but no one helped me at all. Absolutely no one did. And even though I'm still alive today, even though I'm living down south, and I love it here, it's really nice, that still gets me pretty pissed off that no one helped me at all, really. And that's just, you know, that just shows me how people are. But it doesn't really bother me that much, but it still makes me a bit mad because overall I didn't have to end up dying at all. I'm not afraid to die anyway, but still, I honestly prefer not to, but if I have to, I will. So, that's the only reason why I'm still alive. So in the end, everyone turned their back on me and no one was there for me at all. And I know that some people watching my videos, they really don't want me to die at all, but they can't do anything because they're just a bunch of kids and they can't help me at all. Don't take it personally, but for everyone who could have done something, and oh, trust me, there definitely are people who could have, they didn't. So, yeah. The only person who did help was the man who was going to give me a ride to the forest in North Carolina, because I was talking about how I didn't want to die in Wisconsin at all, and how I didn't want to become homeless and die in Wisconsin at all, and how I didn't want to be on the streets when I became homeless, because they do messed up stuff to homeless people on the streets. He understood that, so he was going to take me to the forest in North Carolina and drop me off there and leave me there, so I don't have to die in Wisconsin at all. And I thought I was going to die of having no insulin, but how the psychic said I was going to die, I was going to be killed by a tornado instead. So, yeah, that's that. He was honestly the only person who helped in a way, not quite the way I want it to. Well, the only person who was going to help me, not quite the way I want it to, but he still did nonetheless. I wouldn't have died in Wisconsin, so that's a good thing. Like, that's my point, really. If it wasn't for my adoptive parents being afraid of going to hell, I would not still be alive right now. I'm just trying to make sure you all understand that. So no one even bothered to help me at all, including these guys I'm talking about right now. Even though they said that they would, they were really just lying to me, bullshitting me, and stabbing me in the back. And it hurt because I actually believed them. That's the reason why I'm so frustrated with this right now. So these guys lied to me. And you know, I wanted to confront them on it. I wanted to let them know that I knew they were bullshitting me. Because, you know, if someone makes fake promises to me, and if someone bullshits me, I'm always going to find out. oh, I'm always going to find out. And I do not take that very lightly. I definitely do not take that very lightly. Like, I'm not a psycho or violent person at all, but I will tell you, oh, I hope you end up dying and get into a car accident and die, but I won't, like, put you in a car accident myself, because I don't want to get in trouble for it, so that's the only reason why. But still, so, I wanted to confront them on it, and, you know, somehow I started messaging them again, and I finally got back in touch with them. I told them I was finally living down south where I wanted to with my adoptive parents' relatives. And when I got back in touch with them, I wasn't really, like, extremely confrontive like I kind of seem like I am in this video. I wasn't when I first got back in touch with them. I was actually being nice. I didn't get mean right away. Like, I told them I was living down south now, and they said, oh, that's cool. And I told them that my adoptive parents sent me down here because of what they found out I was going to do once I became homeless, running away to the forest in North Carolina. And then they said, oh, well, that sucks. And then I told them that the only reason why I'm alive, basically the same thing I explained to you guys, I told them that the only reason why I'm alive today is because my adoptive parents didn't want me to run away and die because they were afraid they would go to hell for it because it would be all their fault, which it totally would have been, but I told them that. And then they sent me this message. This is the exact message they sent me. They said, we would love for you to come be with us, but we got to have someone that will be able to at least bottom or suck someone off, you know. It wouldn't be fair for us, you know. Didn't you just... Aren't these the same guys who just told me that that doesn't matter at all? I mean, there's two of them anyway. Why don't they suck each other off and bottom for each other instead? Seriously. I'm gonna get back to that. So, they're finally saying that now? Like, I made it clear. I made it absolutely clear about myself. Like, if I didn't fit their standards, they shouldn't have messaged me, because that's one thing about me. I never make the first approach to anyone. Like, I do put myself out there, but I never make the first approach to anyone, really. I didn't make the first approach to them. I didn't ask them to message me. I didn't tell them to message me. I didn't tell them to bullshit me. Otherwise, it would have been completely different. But they messaged me first. They said that I could come live with them down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And they messaged me first, and they were giving me false hope, and that pissed me off, and I wanted to confront them on that. That's why I messaged them. So I told them what would have happened, and told them about the man leaving me in the forest, and how I was going to end up getting killed by the tornado. And then they said this. They said, oh, well, we would go and fuck him up. That's what they said, that they would go and fuck him up. And then I was like, oh, really? You know, if they said that they were going to go fuck him up, I said, well, you know, I wouldn't have had to go out to the forests in North Carolina if you guys weren't bullshitting me and actually did exactly what you said you were going to do, so I wouldn't have to become homeless, and I wouldn't have to be left in a forest in North Carolina, because they wanted me to come live with them, and then I wouldn't need to go out to a forest in North Carolina and get killed by a tornado then. So then I told them that he was the only one helping me, because I didn't want to die in Wisconsin at all when I became homeless, because even if he didn't take me to the forest, I still would have died, but I didn't want to die in Wisconsin. And I actually wanted to go to the forest in North Carolina if I became homeless and had nowhere else to go. Then they changed and said, oh, I thought he was doing it to be me, and... What? That makes no fucking sense. What, they thought he was gonna kidnap me? No! I was gonna go with them. Gosh. So then I told them that they're the ones who were being mean because they lied to me and bullshitted me, and I told them that they really should not lie to people and bullshit people at all, because that's not very nice and it pisses people off. And that's the whole point. I was trying to confront them on that and say to them that I knew that they lied and bullshitted me, and that they shouldn't do that. And then they tried changing the topic and said, oh, well, but you're with family now. And then I told them, I don't have any family left. All my family members are dead. My Uncle Romario is dead. My twin brother is dead. My biological father died in prison in 1998, and my biological mother died 2 weeks after I was born from drug complications, but I don't miss my biological parents at all because I never really knew them, and plus they're horrible people anyway. The only ones I felt sorry for was my twin brother, Crystal, and my uncle, Romario, who passed away of brain cancer in 2012. And you know, that's another sad thing because they actually kind of reminded me of my uncle, Romario, but definitely not anymore. And then they were trying to change the topic, saying that, oh, you're with family now. And then I said that I told them that all my family were dead. And then they have the nerve to say, oh, well, they're putting a roof over your head and they're taking care of you and getting your meds, so they are your family. Okay, I saw what they were trying to do there. They were trying to change the topic because they knew what I was getting to, and they knew that I was getting confrontational. I don't know if that's the right word. Confrontational. I don't think that's actually a word, but you guys get what I'm saying. First of all, they let me stay in a small section. This house is really huge. The one I'm living in right now, it's massive. But I only get to stay in a small section of the mansion. The house is full of rooms and full of hallways that I'm assuming I'm not allowed into because they never gave me any keys at all. Like, where are my keys right now? I have them somewhere. Hold on one sec. Here they are. Okay. These are all the keys I have. Most of these keys are just from a bunch of random padlocks that I never use at all. Only like one of them actually goes to the house, the entrance of the house that I'm allowed to use. Because, oh yeah, another thing. I never been through the front door of this house either. Like the way I get into the small section that I'm living in, like I have to go around the back and like weave through the backyard and then unlock a door and get inside. Like one person thought I was an intruder, one of the people living in our neighborhood, and I said, no, I actually do live here. I'm not an intruder at all. And there's 5 people living in this house, but I only saw 2 of them. But the 2 of them that I did see, one of them is like always gone, and the other one is almost always gone. So most of the time I'm just here by myself in a huge house with a bunch of rooms that I can't get into at all. And they aren't taking care of me at all. They are rarely at this house, and it's just me here by myself most of the time. They don't cook my food, or they don't like change my bed sheets or anything. I have to do all that myself, and I don't really mind. I can change my own bed sheets, and I can cook my own food. I'm fine with it, really. And I barely even eat any food, to be completely honest with you guys, if you haven't noticed. But like, don't say things that are inaccurate, because that's another thing that pisses me off because of my autism mind. Like, he's trying to make them out to be, like, these loving people who take care of me and everything. But no, they aren't. Like, they're not mean, but they're definitely not loving. They haven't done anything mean yet. I hope they don't. And they said that they're getting me my meds. That is wrong, because I'm actually running out of insulin. This is how much insulin I have left. Like, I have plenty of Lantus left, but this is how much Humalog I have left. Like, I have a whole bunch of Lantus left, but my Humalog is... I'm running out of that, but I think I figured out a way to get some, yeah. So, the reason why I'm running out of insulin is because back when I was living in Wisconsin, the state that I hate and never want to come back and can't come back to anyway, because there's no place there for me to go, because my adoptive parents don't want me living with them anymore. Back when I was living in Wisconsin, I was on the state health insurance, but apparently the state I'm living in down south right now, they don't have a state health insurance like Wisconsin did, so I can't be on state health insurance where I'm at. But however, I have been looking around at free clinics and everything, and if I run out of insulin, I'll die, and that's what I've been saying. But I'm sure I'll figure out where to get more insulin from, so don't be alarmed about that. I'll figure some out, because I'm pretty sure, like, the state that I'm in right now, I'm pretty sure they don't let people die of no insulin. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? Gosh. So, And I'm not even homeless, and I'm gonna be dying of no insulin? That would be crazy. So I told them all of that, and I was also mad because I called them out because they were trying to change the subject. We weren't talking about this face to face, like, I wasn't calling them and talking to them, like, we were typing this all out. And then they sent me, oh yeah, I also told them about how the psychic said I would be mutilated by the tornado too. I was just letting them know exactly what was going to happen, because I wanted them to know everything that was going to happen. That I was going to get split in half, that one of my arms are going to be torn off, that the flesh on my left hand was going to be sandblasted off and skeletonized, and that a rock was going to fly and whack my face and tear off my upper and lower jaw and my nose. I wonder what that would look like, really. And also that a stick would be driven through the back of my head and out the front of my head and jammed inside my head, because that's what happens when you're in tornadoes. You have all that stuff hitting you at 200 miles per hour, and it can be... Imagine a tree hitting a skinny human body. Imagine a tree hitting me at 200 miles per hour. That literally would split me in half. And that's what the psychic said that would happen. They sent me this message. I'm going to read the whole message, then I'm going to talk about it. So I'm going to do that right now. We have never stabbed you or fucked with your feelings. I'm done with this. I don't know what you want or asking for. I just know it's sad when you want everyone to do everything for you and you do nothing in return. I guess it has caught up with you. Get over yourself. No one in their right mind would bow down and kiss your ass for nothing. We did find a bottom guy. You're just a fucked up individual. And then right after they sent that message, they blocked me because they knew that I would have tore them apart verbally afterwards. They pissed me off. Well, instead I just decided to make an episode of Joe Winko Talk about it for your entertainment, so... yeah, you guys can congratulate me on that. These guys pissed me off so fucking much. I'm going to admit, I do kind of have an irrational anger towards people's stupidity. Like, a normal-minded person would have said, oh, well, that's just a stupid person. It doesn't matter what they say. Okay, whatever. But, you know, when someone says stuff that's inaccurate, I kind of get pissed off about it, really. And especially when they're this stupid, the whole point was to let them know that they really shouldn't bullshit people at all, because it just makes them look like fucking assholes, which they absolutely are. So I was really mad about that. And it pisses me off that they lie and bullshit me. Like, if you're not gonna do what you said, what's the point of telling it to me then? What's the point of contacting me? What exactly are you gonna get out of that? Like, yeah, you get to talk to me, but bullshitting me? And yeah, you might get a couple pictures of my cock sent to you, but what's the point of that? Seriously. That's fucking stupid. If you're that desperate for cock pictures, then go watch porn or something. Jeez. And they didn't know what I was asking for. I made it clear as fucking daylight. I did an episode of Joe Winko Talk about that. I'll have a link to it in the pinned comments. And then they said that I wanted someone to kiss my ass. Why the fuck would I want someone to kiss my ass? That's fucking weird, and that's fucking disgusting. Like, yeah, I wanted to live with a guy who would want to suck my cock a lot, or live with two guys who wanted to suck my cock a lot, but I didn't want anyone to kiss their ass and put their lips on my ass, because I don't get into that at all. So I don't know why the fuck they were saying that. And those sick-ass motherfuckers. God, they're stupid. That's what they are. And... you know, they should have just went and found a bottom guy instead of trying to talk to me, because I don't change for anyone. And they shouldn't have lied to me and bullshitted me, because, you know, I would rather have absolutely no one talk to me than a bunch of people who are bullshitting me and saying that they'll do stuff that they're never going to do at all. Because I don't take that very lightly. I get really pissed off when someone lies to me and stabs me in the back. Even though it's happened many, many, many times throughout my whole entire life, it still gets me just as pissed off as it did the first time. Seriously. It's the beauty of having autism, but yeah, that's that. So, we were talking on Facebook, calling each other. They looked me right in the eye and they told me that I don't have to become homeless and that I don't have to die at all. And they said that I could just come live with them. So just because I'm not sucking their cocks at all or taking their cocks up my ass, they thought I deserved to be left in the forest in North Carolina and get killed by a tornado? That's fucked up. These are sick-ass motherfuckers, and they're even more fucked up than I am. I know I'm pretty fucked up too, but I wouldn't change anything about myself. I like the way I am. But they're even more fucked up than I'll ever be. Really. And I never bullshit anyone. I always tell the truth. I absolutely always tell the truth. And you know, what I think they probably thought was, they probably thought that that once I came to live with them, they could boss me around and have me do everything they want to do because I'm living with them and I would have been homeless if they decided to kick me out. But, you know, that is absolutely false. As you guys, because they would never be able to make me do something I don't want to do because I don't take orders from anyone and I'm definitely not easily convinced. I've been told that many times. I'm 6'3" and 155 pounds. So they would not be able to force me to do anything. I would love to see them try to do that. Actually, no, I don't like violence at all, really. I would just run away. But you know, I would literally dig my own grave and bury myself in it before I let anyone boss me around or demand me to do stuff or bitch me around like I'm like their bitch or something. Seriously, because I don't fucking do that. Gosh. And you know, I think that after a while, they were able to tell that I don't change easily, that I don't take commands. I think that they probably started picking that up after a while, that I'm absolutely serious, that I do not change for anyone. And my autism causes me to be very, very persistent, because I absolutely am. Like, I know what I want. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to bargain or barter with anyone. I won't settle for anything less. And let me tell you what I want. I wanted a man who would share his home and life with me, who would have me live with him, who would have me live with him down south, who would take me on road trips every now and then. It wouldn't have to be all the time, but like once a year or once every 2 years or whenever we can would be fine. Like, I wouldn't be demanding him to take me on a road trip left and right, because, you know, to be honest with you, after I take a road trip, I don't feel like taking another one till a little while after, so yeah. And who wouldn't care if I don't suck his cock at all, or grab his cock, or do anything with his cock, really, because I like men, but I just don't like cock at all. I just like a guy's mouth and a guy's ass. I don't want to do anything with a guy's cock at all. That's just how I am. It's not because I'm selfish or anything. That's just what I prefer. And you know, if a guy can't give that to me, then I tell him to fuck off, because I don't want to waste my time talking to someone who can't give me what I want. What's the fucking point? Because it's not going to go anywhere. And you know, they actually inspired me, because they stabbed me in the back, they actually inspired me to make this picture, and with my Photoshop art, and with The Sims and everything, and Google Earth, The Sims, and I also took a picture of myself to make this. Let me show it to you guys right now. That's the picture I made. The South Carolina Backstabbers. Well, that sounds like a good idea for a horror movie, but I already made Carolina Maniacs, so I've had enough of the Carolinas in terms of movie making, so actually, no, I take that back. I love the Carolinas, but these guys pissed me off, really. But they weren't even from South Carolina. Their accent sounded fake. But you can't really judge a person's southern accent, because there really are people who talk like that. There really are people from the South who sounded like they did, so I can't really judge a southern accent. I'm wondering how the hell they got the southern accent if they're from Maine or Vermont. That makes no fucking sense. And you know, I think that's really stupid, because nothing comes out of bullshitting someone. It's a waste of time. Like, you're not gonna help me at all, so why are you fucking acting like you're going to? Just fuck off. I don't care at all. I didn't care about dying either. The moral of this whole story is to not bullshit people, because karma will come back for you if you do. Because, you know, if you bullshit someone, you're actually hurting them. You're giving them false hope. Imagine this. Imagine if I thought that they were going to have me come live with them, I didn't have to be homeless and die at all. Then later on I find out that they were bullshitting me, and then I actually did have to die because they bullshitted me. That would piss me off. That did piss me off. But it would definitely piss me off if I had to be taken to the forest in North Carolina to get killed by the tornado, even though, like, they were telling me I wouldn't have to, and they were bullshitting me the whole entire time. But, you know, they said they found their bottom guy. I hope they all get AIDS, and I hope they die happily ever after, because they deserve it. And, you know, speaking of dying, this all ties back to my 2017 episode of Joe Winko Talk, and the reasons why I think about death a lot episode of Joe Winko Talk. Like, the reason why, like, it's not really, I'm not suicidal at all, because I'm living down south right now, and I love living down south. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I'm happier here. But the reason why I think about death a lot, and the reason why I always thought about dying, it had nothing to do with what I thought of myself. It was because I thought this world was really boring, and I wanted to ditch everyone and leave. That's the reason why I always thought of death, because I got so much satisfaction out of the thought of ditching everyone and leaving them all behind for good. That's the only reason why. But you know, this all contributes to it. Like, these guys who are bullshitting me, telling me that I don't have to die at all, that I could come live with them. You know, you think that's the only time that has happened to me? Do you guys think that these are the only people who have bullshitted me? Because they're definitely not. There's plenty of others who have. And you know, it just reminds me that this world is full of people who let you down, who stab you in the back, and who leave you out on the street to die, leave you out in the forests in North Carolina to die, and to get killed by a tornado. So, you know, that's what I was going to be thinking about. That is all I was going to be thinking about when I was alone out in that forest. The whole entire time I was going to be thinking how these people stabbed me in the back, how these people did not help me at all, how I'm all by myself right now, left in the forest to die. And when I'm flying around in that tornado, that's exactly what I was going to be thinking about while I get split in half by a tree hitting me at 200 miles per hour. That would hurt like hell, but the psychic said that I was going to be alive for 3 whole days without food, water, or insulin out in the forest. So if I was alive for 3 whole days without food, water, or insulin, trust me, I would be very, very, very sick and very out of it. So I wouldn't even notice everything that was going on, because that's even how she described me, even. Like, she said that I didn't even notice. Like, when the tornado was coming right for me, I didn't even seem to notice it much at all. And she couldn't even tell exactly when I died, either. But I wouldn't have cared. That's what I would have been thinking of. But I didn't have to get killed by a tornado at all. I'm finally living down south with my adoptive parents' relatives. Like, they weren't really, they definitely did not seem very welcoming, just letting you all know. But it's okay, they haven't done anything mean yet at all, and they're always gone, so it's mostly here by myself. But I'm still not allowed to have visitors, because I'm assuming that those are their rules and everything, that I'm not allowed to have people over. And even then, I never know when they're coming home at all, because, like, sometimes they come into my section of the mansion that I live in from time to time. They might, like, because there's also a storage closet in my section of the mansion that they always go to and grab random stuff out of. So that's the only reason why they come, and I can always tell when they're at home and everything. But I'm not allowed to have visitors over. I don't really like having people over anyway. I prefer to just go out and go somewhere myself, really. But that's basically it, really. Sorry I kind of had a difficult time explaining it, like when your blood sugars are off and you can't even check your blood sugars because you're out of diabetic supplies, you seem to drift a bit out there. But I'm working on getting some more. I think I finally figured out where I could get some more. I got some numbers for some free clinics that I've been trying to get in touch with. But that's that. The moral of the story, don't bullshit people, and especially don't bullshit me at all, because I'm always going to find out if you tell me, oh Joe, I'll take you on a road trip, or oh Joe, I'll take you to the Waverly Hills Sanitarium. I'm always going to find out if you're actually not going to take me to the Waverly Hills Sanitarium. And when I find out, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. Just like I am now. So don't do that. Don't make promises to me that you're not going to keep at all. That's the whole reason why I'm putting this video out there, so people know, okay, I'm not going to bullshit this guy at all. Okay, just going to let someone else who's honest and holds their words find him and contact him instead. I'm not going to waste any of his time. Just going to do that. That's the whole point of this video. So this doesn't happen again, and that was my whole point for confronting them about bullshitting me, so they don't bullshit anyone else. So yeah, that's it for this episode of Joe Winko Talk. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. So that's it. Peace out, people.